There's a moment on the mat when everything changes. You actually don't even notice that it happened until later when you look back and realize that it was there. This moment is probably the most important moment. So let's talk about it. Hey, what's up? I'm Ken. This is kenfuTV, and each week I release videos of the martial arts, philosophy, technique, training, that sort of thing. So that's the kind of thing you're into. I hope that you stick around. I hope that you subscribe, that you share this with people that you think will enjoy it or get something out of it. And if you want to support what I'm doing, check the links in the description on how you can join this channel and get access to a bunch of other content released throughout the week. Today we're talking about one of the most important moments on the mat, one of the ones that I find to be highly addictive. It's the thing that makes the martial arts so cathartic. What I'm talking about are those moments during training when you forget the world exists. It happens for a variety of reasons, and I want to talk about those reasons today because I think that it's possibly one of the things that we need to maximize. It's certainly the thing that keeps you coming back. I think this happens in other things too. It happens when you're at the gym. It happens at other activities. But I want to point it out specifically because it happens on the mat, and it's the thing that keeps me coming back every day, day after day, week after week. And it's the moment when you pause the world. Something my instructor always said was that you have to give yourself permission to train. When you bow coming into the room or bow getting onto the mat, that moment is for you to actively give yourself permission to be there, to be selfish, to let the rest of the world go, and to focus on your training and just be in that moment. This goes beyond that as well. As teachers, we have the ability to fabricate this moment, to make it happen. And it happens in a variety of ways. We're going to look at 3 ways that this happens on the mat and how we can make that happen if we want to fabricate that, if we want to introduce that into what's happening, which I encourage everyone to do. The first one is when we're learning, when we're actively learning something brand new that we've never tried before, and we're really focused on figuring it out. The world disappears. We're locked into learning that thing and all the details and all the stuff we've got to figure out, and we spend that time doing it, and everything else just fades away. The second one is when drills become complex. We were working this weekend on some drills that were heavily cognitive. You were spending a lot of time trying to work with complex patterns, and then we assigned those patterns numbers. So you had to work a specific drill, and that drill got assigned a number, and then there were a number of drills, and they each had their own number, and then there'd be different times during the training where okay, we're doing this number now. And some of them were harder than others, so you'd be trying to process what was happening. We would do series of numbers, so say 1, 3, 1. So you had to do drill 1, drill 3, drill 1, back to back, and try to keep it seamlessly flowing. These were screaming drills, but this could be anything. And that gets to be really challenging because you've got to plan to not skip a beat and be able to stay inside the drill and keep moving. And we did that as we just set up a round timer, and we did 3 minutes and then a minute break in between. And so during the break, I would call out, here's what you're going to be doing. Here's the drill, 2, 5, 3. And then when that 3-minute timer started, for 3 minutes, you would just try to work on do drill 2, drill 5, drill 3, drill 2, drill 5, drill 3. That class went by incredibly fast. When it was over, people didn't even realize that the time had gone on because there was so much to think about, so much to focus on, to keep moving and keep working. But the world disappeared again. They were just focused on learning, focused on trying to figure out the drills and try to do what was asked. They kept changing partners, and they were just trying to work through, how do I get this drill done? And when you work with different people move different, and that can sometimes trick you, confuse you, because you expect one thing, you don't get it, so you've got to work on trying to make sure that you can compensate for that. So much to think about, so much to do, that you lose sight of everything else. Every other part of your day, whatever you were thinking about when you walked in the door, doesn't matter right now. Didn't exist. Another place this happens, number 3, is sparring. And really good sparring. The place that I see this manifest the absolute most is jiu-jitsu. When you're rolling, because it can be constant, you've got this constant problem you're trying to solve. Somebody trying to do something to you, and you constantly trying to handle that thing. And when you're doing that, you're not thinking about anything else because you're constantly being provided something to think about. And I see this happen in stand-up sparring too, but I see as people get more comfortable with that, a lot of times their mind can wander more. And that's not to say that your mind can't wander in jiu-jitsu also. It really just depends on your skill level and your ability and how engaged you are and how challenging the person that you're rolling or sparring with is to your skill level. But when you're training live, drilling, sparring, rolling, whatever it is, and you've constantly got a problem that you're trying to solve, when that happens, you're just locked in. And again, the world fades away. That timer that goes off, we work with timers. When that timer goes off, it beeps and it's time to be done. You often don't realize how much time has gone on. If it was a 3-minute round, 5-minute round, whatever, the world disappeared for 5 minutes. Felt like you were in there for 30 seconds and it was 5 minutes. Or the opposite. Felt like you were in there for 5 minutes and you've only done 30 seconds so far. You're so focused on what's happening that you don't even notice that this time has changed, has gone on, has gone by. These moments are the coolest moments. They're absolutely the coolest moments. And I think they're the ones that refresh us the most, because for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever the length of the class may be, if it started right at the very beginning, or if you get good at actively doing it, actively being mindful and being present, then you can harness these moments where you just exist. Everything is now. Nothing is in the future. Nothing is in the past. Everything is right now. And that's what you're doing. That's, in my mind, the secret to stress relief and to actually getting to take a break. Not to mention all the endorphins and all the other cathartic things that are happening while you're training physically. Any physical activity increases chemical components in your body that help you feel better and help fight depression, anxiety, etc., etc. So for our health, we should be looking at ways to do this. I can't implore you enough to spend time meditating and clearing your mind and practicing that, being part of the opening ceremony of whatever the class is. If it has a ceremony, if it doesn't, just taking a minute before you get on the mat or before you leave the locker room, whatever it is, to set that stuff aside. It's going to be there when you get back, I promise. And then just be in the moment when you're in the class, focusing on who's there, what's going on, the lesson that's being given, the time that you're spending with people. This can leak out into the rest of your life. Constant practice of being mindful can help you be mindful in life. And being present is a gift. It is a thing that makes life better. If you're present when you're spending time with your kids or your family or your loved ones, present when you're doing something that you love, your life is better. Quality of life is better. So what ways have you found to increase mindfulness in your training? What effects have you noticed that training has on your life? And in what ways have you noticed that training is able to continue out into your day-to-day life? Comment below the things that you notice when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you're a teacher, find ways to incorporate more of this into what you do. Be actively aware that you're creating these moments and leverage them, use them to help your students move forward, use them to get out of their head or to help them through when you're seeing that they're having a rough day. That's all I've got this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you a little bit of something to think about the next time you get on the mat or the next time you go to train. If you like what I'm doing, if you enjoy the things that are happening on this channel, consider supporting the channel. There's a link in the description to become a member and get access to a bunch of other content that I do, private Facebook group, the whole deal. But you also just help continue to make these videos possible. I've queued up a couple videos that you might like, this one and this one. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can hit that button right here. I'm Ken, this is kenfuTV, and I'll catch you in the next one.